Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech and iOS 26 Public Beta 1, iOS 26 Beta 4, and Beta 4 re-release, along with iOS 18.6 RC all released this week. But there's quite a few more features to talk about since the iOS 26 Beta 4 is out what's new video. Now this video is not just about new features and is a little different this week. It's basically half of the normal weekend follow-up video. Since we only had the new releases for about a day or so with the Public Beta and Beta 4 re-release, I thought we'd wait a couple days, see what it's like, and then talk about the experience in a separate video, as many of you have wanted a more focused video. So the first part of this video is the latest Apple updates, the new features, and then releases where we talk about when to expect the next updates. So be sure to check the chapters in the video to jump right to what you want to see, and then come back for an in-depth follow-up about the overall experience. And be sure to check out the YouTube community poll and vote on this and comment if you haven't already, so we can talk about the experience in a day or so. So you'll see there's 8,700 votes at the time of this video and 117 comments. So again, be sure to check back for that probably tomorrow at the latest. Now, Apple updated the Apple Store age rating system for all apps on all devices. Apple updated this in their developer app, and you'll see the latest news here where it says updated age ratings in App Store Connect. Basically, they updated the system to allow for 13 plus, 16 plus, and 18 plus to the existing 4 plus and 9 plus ratings. They did get rid of a couple ratings with 12 plus and 17 plus, and they're requiring more information. So if you're a parent and you want to control the overall experience for your child, you can then customize it based on the age ratings a little bit more and fine tune it. So that's something that's going to be updated probably early next year. Apple also has been having a lot of store openings lately, and they have a couple worth talking about. In fact, the first one you'll see here, if we go into it, is Apple Umeda. Hopefully I'm saying that properly. This is in Osaka, Japan, so this is opening tomorrow or by the time you're watching this video. We also have another one in the UK I've mentioned before. In addition to that, we have another one in Shenzhen, China opening up, and probably the best one is in celebration of an Apple store online in Saudi Arabia. Apple has this new website which allows you to download wallpaper that you can customize. Tap Get Started. I'll link this in the description as well, but you can scroll through, change the overall look of it, customize it, change the background, go back to the gallery, change it to whatever you'd like, customize it however you'd like, including the background, and then download it. And then you can actually use it. So if we tap download, we download it to our device, and then you can use this wallpaper. So hopefully we'll see more of this with future stores as well. Now, there's 10 states in the United States offering tax holidays on Apple purchases. Apple actually notes this on their website, tax holiday, and you can see that here with participating states and what the dates are. So depending on the state you're in, for example, Alabama is July 18th to the 20th and so on. So again, I'll link this in the description, but if you're in one of these states, you'll have a little bit of a tax break then if you pick up an Apple device on those specific days. Now, Apple introduced an all-new AppleCare One program where you can subscribe to this for streamlined coverage into a single plan with incredible value. Many of you have asked me about this. If you sign up and maybe you have a yearly plan that you've already paid for on a Mac, will you be refunded? So I thought we'd talk about that, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but this is basically an all-new AppleCare One subscription to cover potential problems you may have with your Apple devices. So instead of paying yearly or $9.99 per month to cover your device, you can now cover up to 3 devices for $19.99 per month, which basically comes out to $11 less per month if you were covering them separately. It also includes theft and loss, so you don't have to choose between different plans now, and also includes Apple Watch and iPad with theft and loss as well. So if you choose to protect those, they'll all be covered, but you get up to 3, and if you want to add an additional, it's $5.99 per month. You can see all the details here. I'll link it in the description, and it seems to be only available in the United States so far, but probably will roll out around the world a little bit later. And as far as being refunded, well, I signed up for this. So you go into settings, go to general, then you can go to AppleCare and warranty. And you'll see here, I've already added my iPhone 16 Pro Max Black. That's this one. I've also added the MacBook Pro M4 Max as well as Mac Studio. You can go into that and see details. You can add a device and you can see more devices, and it tells you if it's eligible or not. So I'm not going to add all of them, but if you want to add a device, you tap on add, give it just a moment here, and then it says ready to add. And you can see all of your devices you have, as well as your kids' devices if they have them linked under family. So that's a nice way to protect all of those if you want to. Now, I wasn't sure about a refund until this evening when I actually received a refund. So I had paid for the Mac Studio ahead of time as well as the MacBook Pro, and I received some refunds. So if we go into my Apple Wallet, I'll show you that here. So we'll go into Wallet. Now you can see a refund. We have 3 of them from yesterday along with daily cash adjustments. So you'll see a refund of $8.97. That's probably because it's prorating the overall cost of my monthly payment for the iPhone 16 Pro Max to protect that. We also have a refund of $42.03 for one of the Macs and another Mac for $48.80. So it's refunding that prorated based on how long I've had it throughout the year. So I pay for a year ahead of time. Now it's just rolled into that plan. I got the money back and now I'm saving some additional money as well. So it looks like they're refunding. I wasn't sure if they would do that or not, but hopefully that answers your question about it. Now, before we talk about new Apple features this week, WhatsApp is testing a new feature for messages. They're testing a new reminders feature. You can see it here on WA Beta Info, and the reminders feature allows you to press and hold on a notification and then set it for a reminder. So you actually can do that. Maybe they'll bring it to everyone very soon. We don't really know, but we haven't seen anything as far as a release date. But let me know if maybe you're seeing that or if you're testing it out and how it's working for you. Now, as far as new features and releases this week, well, the first new feature has to do with Apple News. If you're using Apple News Plus, you'll see we have the audio option down here at the bottom. Audio is now rolling out to more places, and you'll see the new emoji game is showing with a little splash screen. But you can see all of this news here now has audio options, and that's rolled out now in Canada, the UK, and Australia this week. So if you've been using News Plus and you're in those countries, you'll have the option for that. You'll see it says Discover News Plus Narrated, more audio stories in Apple Podcasts. iOS 26 Public Beta 1 is finally here and brings with it some changes. Just like they've been listening to feedback, it seems, Apple's actually listening this time. Beta 1 to 2 changed, Beta 2 to 3 changed, and now Beta 3 to 4 changed, which is the same as Public Beta 1. So Beta 4 re-release is identical to Beta 1 for public beta testers. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but the first new feature is the overall liquid glass effect. We have more of the liquid glass effect when you move the phone around. You can see that down here in the dock. Watch the actual top of it reflect around as I move the phone around. So you can see that as I move it around. That's one of the new effects you see more prominently in this particular update. And also, one of the widgets, if we add it, has more of a parallax effect or sort of the new spatial photos effect. So if we go in here, add one of them, we'll add the photo widget. So we'll go to Edit, Add Widget. So you'll see the Photos widget, and as I move the phone around, you can sort of see it moves around within the frame. So it has sort of that spatial scene look to it, and if we move it around, you can see it there. But that gives you an idea of what it looks like. However, it's not super prominent and definitely will use some more of your battery and heat the phone up, it seems, just by doing that. Now there's a change to passcodes. If we go into settings, go down to where we have Face ID and passcode, go into that, you'll see the password screen or passcode screen is all new. I noticed this when I upgraded from Beta 3 to Beta 4. We had a similar passcode screen, or Beta 4 to Beta 4 re-release rather. We had a similar passcode screen, and now it just looks a little different. Within our settings for passwords in particular, if we scroll down, you'll see there's a new option for allow contacting websites at the bottom. It says passwords can privately contact websites to show names and icons for apps and websites you have saved items for and to inform you when a website supports passkeys. So if you want that enabled, it's enabled by default. You can have this here. If you don't want it on, simply turn it off. Now with iOS 26 public beta, you'll see down here at the bottom of the weather app, we have more liquid glass. I mentioned this before, but there's a new option for weather as well. If we scroll down, you'll see a new option for use significant locations. If you have this enabled, and it was already enabled for me, it says allow weather to access your home and work addresses from contacts and destinations you're likely to visit. Requires location services. So if you want to use significant locations, you can do that. If you don't, simply turn it off. Now, initially in Beta 4 and Beta 4 re-release, we had some splash screens with the camera app, and they've changed some of the overall looks and behaviors here. So as I scroll through, you can see the animation is a little bit different as I'm swiping through modes. You can do the same here just from the middle of the screen, but the overall animation has changed or been updated. Let me know if you like this Photos app, as I hear mixed reviews. I don't really mind it, but there's some things I don't like about it. For example, if we go into Photos and maybe we're in the mode where we're using dark mode, you can tap here and then get more features or more options. There's no longer a quick slider to do that, and the same is true for all of these options. I don't really like the way of doing that as it's not very obvious, so it's something I hope they bring back, maybe give a better option for. Another new update has to do with CarPlay. It has new color options for wallpapers. Aaron P613 posted these on X or Twitter, and you can see them here where there's 12 new CarPlay wallpapers. In fact, I like the red one as it matches some of the interior of one of my cars, so I selected that, but we have all of these different options, basically light and dark mode for each, and you can see them here. So we've got a light and dark mode version of red, and quite a few others. Within sound and haptics, we have a new option. So if we scroll down, you'll see we have a new option for reduce loud sounds. Prior to this, it was called late night mode. No one really knew what it did, but now we have a description here where it says reduces audio volume range and creates softer sound effects while maintaining the quiet details of the original audio. So you can enable that if you'd like, maybe in the evening. I would like to see it attached to a focus mode or something like that. There's been a lot of talk of a new home device with a display that Apple could release either this year or next year. iOS 26 also seems to reference this rumored device based on a location setting found by Mac Rumors that says your HomePod won't be able to show you the local weather, time, or respond to Siri requests about your area. So if you disable that setting, apparently once it's active, it would show up here. So we could see that maybe this year, maybe next year. Also, if we go into the Health app, and within sleep, Apple is working on a sleep score feature, and it was found by my friend Steve Mosier, posted on Mac Rumors, which shows an image with an Apple Watch with sleep next to it, hinting at sort of a sleep score that you can see in the middle of the image. So we could have that probably by the time this launches, but we haven't heard anything from Apple about it. Within our battery settings, wait for it to load so we can see our statistics, go to battery usage, and maybe select a different day. If you use iPhone mirroring, that's now showing up here. Many people have been telling me they're seeing it now. Now, I haven't seen this as I don't use it a lot, but it appears to be part of iOS 26. So let me know if you've seen this before. Also, when you're in Safari, there's a new haptic feedback option. So basically, when you're in Safari, we'll go back to one of the options where we were in before here, where you can create your own wallpaper. And when we download something, so if we press download, you actually get haptic feedback now, letting you know it downloaded from Safari. We're seeing a lot more haptic feedback throughout. One other thing I wanted to mention that's actually in podcasts, but part of Beta 3, has to do with when you're in your library and maybe you go to a show individually. So maybe we'll go to this one, we'll go to our settings here. Within settings, if we scroll down, we now have custom options for speed and audio adjustments. We can customize it for the show and then have specific playback speed and enhanced dialogue options specific to the show. So if you want to customize those, you can now. Again, this was in Beta 3 as well. As far as releases this week, well, iOS 26 Public Beta 1 released this week, but initially was not available to iPhone 11 users for some reason. Then a day after the public beta released, Apple pushed it out to iPhone 11 users with a fix noted in the release notes. However, I'm not seeing it here when I go in, but they did have it noted in their notes where it said on iPhone 11, if you have organized apps into folders on your home screen, you might only see the leftmost column of the grid of apps when opening a folder. The other two columns in the folder do not display the app icons, preventing users from launching those apps. So Apple actually updated it, let us know they fixed that. I would love to see better notes just like that one in all of the future notes as well. We also got a Safari technology preview. You can see the latest version here, where we're on version 224, released on July 23rd, and it's available for macOS Tahoe and macOS Sequoia. So if you want to test out the latest version of Safari, you can do that. Also, we're waiting for iOS 18.6. Based on what we currently know, I would expect that as soon as Monday, possibly with a new build, but either way, we should have a new update for iOS 18.6 with bug fixes and security updates. I would not expect any new features with it. Also, iOS 26 Beta 5 and Public Beta 2 will probably be either this coming week or the following week. Usually after a public beta, it's a little bit up in the air as what they're doing, but since they released Public Beta 1 so late in the week, we might have to wait another week for the next updates. We don't really know, but we could see iOS 26 Beta 5 as soon as the 29th. If not, we can expect it around the 4th or 5th of August. So that's everything for iOS 26 Public Beta 1 as far as new features and the latest news updates. Again, be sure to check back for the full follow-up going over all the statistics, how the heat is going with the phones, whether or not you should update them, what it's like to just use the latest public beta and iOS 18.6 as well. If you found anything else, though, I haven't mentioned in any of my videos so far as features, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.